everybody, we are back and we are live in the studio. I've got my awesome team in here with me. You know, it's this show wouldn't be the Earlene and Steve show if it didn't have Earlene on here and our special guest.
Well, you told me to find a guest.
You did.
So I yanked him right out of the front office and said, guess what, Sean?
Listen,
you're my guest.
He's out of the hot seat and into the... go ahead, give me that mic check again there.
Check.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
So Sean is on his third week with us, moving into the studio.
And he's still here.
He is still here.
I know. And he still seems to be happy to be here.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a pretty solid team here. I'm just going to say.
Very much so.
Yeah. So welcome, Sean. Sean is working in our sales department and office administration. He is helping us make sure that the glue meets the paper when we stick those ads in. And he's doing a great job. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
But this is the face behind the voice when you call in and you're trying to get your subscription fixed, or you just want to, get the information about what's going on with the paper. We've got some pretty good specials. We still are selling them for this week, right?
Yep,
Till
we sure
Friday.
do.
$17 for a March Madness deal. You get a 2x2 ad in the newspaper, and if you want some of our other options, they are available. Sean is one to call and make that happen. So first of all, Sean, you've been with us now about 2 weeks. And
no, you said 3.
He's in his third week, but it's 2 weeks and a few snow days. So talk to me, Goose, about how it's been for you.
Yeah, I tell you, it's like diving into the deep end, but it's all good. I have floaties.
You better get them for your feet too, because
we don't play around here.
No, there's some sharks.
We do not
out there.
have time to baby anybody.
Have you seen her
Right.
teeth? She's the biggest shark in here. I'm telling you what.
He's scared of me at all.
No, I like Earlene.
No, you're like a big grizzly bear, but you're more like a teddy bear.
Yeah, my husband sent me a thing yesterday, and it said, "This is what my wife thinks she looks like when she's mad." It had this big tiger going, "Rawr," and all this stuff, vicious looking. He said, "And this is what she really looks like." And had this tiny little fluffy kitty going, "Meow, meow."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, that is not true."
It kind of is.
No.
Accurate.
That's very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Earlene, you've been quite on the hunt here lately. I know this week's paper just got printed. It's coming into the post office today. It'll be out hopefully this week. Knock on some fake wood that we don't have issues this week with printing. And listen, I'm going to say it. Look, we are very sorry if you got a paper this week. We were told they were non-deliverable.
No, we're not sorry if they got a paper this week.
Well, no, I'm sorry if you got a paper that had somebody else's name but your address.
Or your name and their address.
Yeah, we were told those were non-deliverable. And so we had them reprinted. So you might have gotten like 3 papers for the cost of one this week. And it might have had somebody else's. But if that explains anything, it had nothing to do with the post office. It had to do everything with getting the print to line up, and they still don't even understand how that happened. But we don't give out it's the name and address. That's what goes on the newspaper. So we're working with them. Hopefully we get it squared away this week. That's 2 weeks back to back. We've had 2 completely unusual, unnormal problems that we had to work through. So appreciate all of our customers for being patient.
And here's the thing. And we accept this, not just Stephen and myself, but our entire crew. So there's a thing in business or in any type of leadership or responsible role that you might have in life. And it goes, it's not my fault, but it is my responsibility.
Yeah.
So it is perfectly acceptable that people have called us and they've been like, "Where's my paper?" Or "I've got 3 papers," or "What is going on with you guys?" Or whatever. We want that. We want to take that responsibility. We want you to call us because we want you to give us the opportunity for a couple things. One, we love hearing your voices. We love answering the phone, and like if you say, "This is so and so, and I live at so and so."
Yep.
So first of all, that's our first connect. We love the opportunity to try to fix problems. So if there is something going on, we would far rather you go ahead and call us. Sean most likely will be the one that will answer the phone, and then he'll direct it to either myself or Stephen or Nancy. And then we want the chance to make it right. We would rather you do that than for it not to be right, and then for there to be a problem, and then you not give us the chance to fix it, because that's always our goal.
I've really been enjoying taking those calls, and I also like how passionate the readers are. Like, you all are awesome.
That's a great answer. I love that too. You said that earlier this week.
Well, he's so funny too, because if somebody calls in and they're not happy about something, he brings me a little sticky, and he's like, "Earlene, I'm so sorry about this." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll call him."
Yeah.
Because I embrace that. I want
Same.
that opportunity to fix that.
And we've had some that come into the office and, they were hot.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, I completely understand. And so we've worked through those problems, and I think they were appreciative for the answers. The truth, I mean, it's frustrating. You see
I
that?
enjoyed watching how you handled that. Like the one couple that I'm thinking of, they came in, they were pretty excited, and you were very calm, and you explained exactly what happened. And it's easy for us to pass the buck. Like, it's easy for us to say, "Oh, this is postman's fault," or "This is whatever's fault." But you explained, "This is what happened." And so one of the things that that we need to understand, there's a reason why things happen, and that's not necessarily an excuse.
Yeah.
This is why it happened, and we are working on. We are aware of it. We will fix this.
And this is what we're doing to prevent it from happening again. I think that's the most we can offer. At the end of the day, though, there's been a lot of work going into the paper. That we're starting to get back into sports. We're going to see a lot of activity coming up with the baseball season, softball season coming around. I think we've had the little bit of the lull. You'll see a lot more of that. We're working to get the weather section in the paper, and we're working to get, so you'll get a weekly weather report, kind of a forecast. We've had a lot of readers asking for that. A lot of times we like the complaint phone calls because a lot of people tell us what they'd like to see. And we're trying to find what's that balance of consistency between giving legislative updates and then giving the criminal report and the updates and all that other stuff. We do want to provide public record, but it's an interesting process because there's a lot of things that are changing in our state laws that doesn't require everybody, because everybody, I can do it on a website, or I can do it here. Now you got to go to 500 different locations instead of your news source. And I would remind everybody that the press is called the press for a reason. News is north, east, west, and south. That's where that comes from. But the press is because we press to get the information and ask the tough questions that you want to know, so that, a lot of people don't have the time in their day to go do that. But that's what we're trying to do here. Now, I will say that our governments locally have been completely cooperative with us in the newspaper. Anytime we've asked for something, they provided it. We are trying to get to those information pieces in the newspaper, but a lot of times it's going to off balance with sports, or it's going to off balance with, there's a lot of information about law that's coming out with ordinances and stuff like that, but it just comes with the balance. I think you're doing a great job on that.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot to me. So I talk to a lot of people, a lot. I talk to people just randomly in the neighborhood that live on my road, or if I'm at the grocery store or whatever. I talk to a lot of people, and 9 times out of 10,
I don't know if you don't talk during the day.
Right.
Is there any? Do you sleep?
Do you see this? Zip,
I do.
zip, 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 zip.
Got it.
All right. So anyway, but 9 times out of 10, people are expressing how much they do like this. So one of our readers went out of her way to find my phone number so that she could get in touch with me and leave me a message. So I called her back, and this was just last week. And she said, "I have been reading this newspaper since I was a young girl." And she said, "And in 50 years, right now, it is the best it's ever been." And so she acknowledged how it's changed, how the size of it has changed, how different dynamics have changed, how it's swung from one political side to the other and then back again, and sometimes it's in the middle, and all that kind of stuff. And she said, "But I love the vibe that you guys have." She said, that's what's attracting me. She said, "I love the mix of the personal stories that are being written as well as the facts that are being posted." And she said, "I actually love that you're not forcing one political agenda over another."
Wait, are you telling me that the paper can be owned by a political party, but,
That's what she said.
That's crazy.
That's what she said.
I'll take that compliment any day.
I'll take it any day
I think
as well.
it's fair.
And she said that she said that she went to Meade County High School, and she started and she called it the new school, which is the current high school. That when she started there, that the floorboards, the floor in the gym was still just dirt. And they didn't have the floor down
wow.
yet. So I considered that great compliment. And I was looking through the newspaper today. Last week is the week that we didn't get to do our show last week because of the weather. So we weren't here, and we were hoping to get to do it, but that weather was just
It was a doozy.
Uncooperative. It was uncooperative at best. So there's a lot of different things I want to just touch base on just a little bit. But I don't know if Stephen has something he wants to say before I get started, or do you want me just to go?
Roll with it.
So Sean and I will discuss this. So
okay, I'm listening.
I know. So one of the big things that happened last week, and it did happen during the snowstorm, and it was quite dicey getting out, was our beloved Stuart Pepper. He crossed over, and so and he was just such a huge presence in Meade County. And so he lived in Doe Valley, which I live in Doe Valley. And so I was very used to seeing him, at the club or out on the 19th hole or the golf course or whatever. And so many people just absolutely loved him. Like a lot of people didn't quite understand his personality. And but the people who truly knew him knew that he had a heart of gold, knew that he truly cared about the community, not just Doe Valley, but all of Meade County. He was on the board of directors out there for a number of years, and so I visited with several of his friends that are his Doe Valley neighbors. One of them was former Judge Joe Hager, and he shared a little bit about him, and he even said, one thing that one of the philosophies that Stuart lived by was. Always tell the truth, because if you always tell the truth, even if it's a difficult truth to tell, you're not going to be caught in an untruth, and you're not going to find yourself in a position of explaining yourself. And he said,
So true.
he said his exact words were, Stuart lived by that. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Another thing that happened during the snow, but it went ahead and went, was the Brandenburg City Council had their February meeting. And there's a couple things that I thought was interesting. One is that there's been a bill that's been introduced in Frankfort, and it's saying that any city in Kentucky that gets occupational taxes, that they have to be collected by the state. Then the state will take it, and they'll keep whatever interest that they feel like it's been earned, and then they'll send it back to the city. And so Brandenburg City Council members were unanimous. They were like, nope. So they opposed that measure. And several other cities in Kentucky are also opposing it. And so they're going to send Donna Brown. She's our new councilwoman, and she used to be a Frankfort lobbyist. They're going to send her off to discuss this situation with our state representative and to see how we're going to go on that. I thought that was pretty interesting that we're having that happening.
I think,
that's a hot topic. Yeah. So, I
agree too. I mean, it's like send the money to the county. Don't send it to the state and have them, divvy it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work or what. I mean, it's already hot here, even discussing occupational taxes or alcohol taxes or, restaurant taxes. We've had a lot of that come up. I think we've established that there's a need for the taxes, but we've been in lots of discussions lately about the transparency of it and how we need to handle it. So
just
I think that's ongoing.
Vote on it and move out. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's just so much. Like, Brandenburg's getting ready to erect a new water storage, kind of over in that area where Newcourt is. So they're wanting a tower, and so that the water, pressure will be better over there because they've struggled with that. So I think that's probably pretty important. It's on Mormon Road. Right now, Mormon Road is kind of a hot name because that's where they're going to build they're wanting to build that new animal shelter.
It's not just the animal shelter. So I'll clarify the animal
Jump
shelter.
right on in here.
Yeah, so that section was going to be developed for the roads department.
Right.
They've long outlived the building for the roads department and the work that needs to go in and the vehicles that need to come in and out. In conjunction with a grants that they got, they were able to use the same space and clear it out in order to improve our animal shelter. There is a KRS about how animals are treated that honestly put our county in jeopardy of being our own felons for the crimes of animal control, that we're supposed to maintain a certain standard of condition for animals. Our facility has been well underfunded for many years. They still do it with a baling wire and duct tape budget. They've improved the ordinances, so have stiffer fines and penalties for those who have their animals retrieved and then get them returned. And they've done a no-kill shelter for the last 12 months plus, where it used to be anything that came through the door, unless it was going to be a sold off dog and made some kind of a drug deal on the side, everything that went in there was getting killed, thrown in a freezer, and then hauled off. So, so that work I'm very proud of for our county. But if you think about how we treat our animals is how we treat our people in Meade County, I would say that carries a lot of water. And so the grants that came in to help develop that, where it used to be the old burn pit,
right,
that's county land that the county owns without having to do much more.
But now, wasn't that land that they're wanting to build it on, wasn't that donated to us by Nucor? So that wasn't in the county.
I can't answer that, confirm or deny that information, but the county has acquired that land. Whether they bought it, paid for it, that land is being cleared and leveled.
Well, I was in a Board of Adjustments meeting where they were actually discussing that because there's so many things that they have to do to this property to make it viable to build this building on. And
it's not just that building, but the roads department is.
Yeah, but I'm only discussing this certain building right now. But the place where they're wanting to build it at, it's got so many dips and what are those, sinkholes? Yeah, it's got a big sinkhole in it and things like that. And one of the fellas even said, you would think if they donated us a better piece of property because we've got this property, it's donated, we're very grateful for it, but it's going to have a lot of land work to be able to build that building.
And that's the thing that's offset. I think I'd have to go back and dig into the conversations that were had over the meetings, but the grants that were secured in order to bring that property up to speed, not only for the road departments, is you just do it all at once and get it all done instead of this baling wire and duct tape method that we've always done as a county. Right. So they're prepping the groundwork. The other really sad part is they've had a $200,000 budget for decades to improve the animal shelter. The reason why we have an animal shelter now is because of the works of Penn's more than 20 plus years ago raised the money to help build the current facility that stands, and it's long over.
We definitely
it doesn't support it doesn't support the population of our current county.
Absolutely not.
So to build a new facility, it costs a lot of money.
Yes. So anyway, and I'm very grateful that you gave us that information, but I only mentioned Mormon Road because that's where the water tower storage is being built, and the reason it's being built out in that area is.
You said it with disdain, though.
So I did not say it with disdain.
You totally had some.
I did not.
I took it that way.
I don't think. Well, just because you took it with this.
I told you there was going to come a time I was going to get it.
All right. Moving on. The fiscal court also met. This
Poor
past
Sean.
week. I know. Welcome
to the show.
Yeah. So one of the things I found super interesting about the last fiscal court, and they talked about lots and lots of issues, but this jumped out to me because I was like, that's kind of cool. So Sheriff Wimpy brought a fellow from Scott County, the Scott County Jail, over. His name is Devin McGabe. And he introduced him to the fiscal court to address certain issues. Well, one of the things that this guy talked about, this McGabe fella talked about, was that they have an electrotherapy device now to help people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol or whatever, to help them do it. And it's this little, I guess, probe.
Microbe.
Yeah, and it goes behind their ear.
Or micro.
And it has to be used for 4 to 7 days. And it's supposed to take away the craving or dependency on whatever drug.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that cool? And so anyway, it says that they had like some percentages of it, and they said that 78% of the people who have used this have experienced some withdrawal with no negative reactions. And I thought, how cool is that? I mean, you know how I'm always complaining about all the new stuff.
Well, and anything we can do to stop recidivism, I think is important for our county, because as we grow, that can only rise.
Well, the court voted to go ahead and utilize this at the Meade County Detention, and then they also felt like it was important that we say, that it's been approved by the Federal Drug Administration.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
So, why is Sheriff Wimpy bringing it up for the prison if it's ran? Why didn't JJ bring it up?
Well, we don't have a prison. We have a jail. And he brought it up because he's very involved and very passionate about the drug program.
No, I agree, but I just don't know why it's coming from the sheriff's office, not from the jailer's office. But okay, that's a general question.
Well, there's two different things going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's using it it's for incarcerated.
I'm going to stop both of us, and let Sean jump in on this.
Oh my gosh. So I have a question about the probe itself. So it's non-harmful, I would imagine.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's just it just sticks to them.
It's like having a TENS unit for
Yeah.
back pain or
Right.
Okay. It's like having a TENS unit, but it's it's like in an itty bitty living space.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So is it basically like redirecting like brain pathways and just trying?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's interesting. And what I would like to do is to explore
Matrix
this and
stuff.
write a story about it.
That'd be cool.
So there's a couple things. So like, see, and here's how it flows in the newspaper business. So Mr. Hager went and he wrote this story. Well, now I'm interested in finding out more about it. So I feel like we need to do that. Another thing that he reported from that same meeting, or maybe it was the Brandenburg meeting, because he did both, was that a couple of new business licenses had been issued. Well, one of them was to this program called Shirley's Way, which is taking over space.
Yeah, I think Shirley's Way is really up like. They're from where I live, Valley Station area.
So I want to know more about it. I think it's a nonprofit, isn't it? And wasn't it generated because of domestic violence?
I do believe so.
Yeah.
I would have to double check that.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is they just opened yesterday. And so it's on my radar for us to get a story written about that and talk to this person and see how we can support them as a community. So that's something I want us to do. So anyway, that's kind of how we get information. Sometimes people call us. Sometimes life happens. Sometimes we'll be sitting in on a fiscal court meeting or city meeting or something along those lines, and we'll be like, what? And it'll like kind of pique our interest, and then we will go and explore that and get a writer on it and get that written and get it to you. The paper that came out last week, again, we normally talk about the paper and we try to encourage people to do it. So we talked a little bit about Stewart. Another thing that, it might be insignificant to some people, but I think it's pretty awesome. This, I don't know if he was a fourth or fifth grader, but a little Trace Thompson, they had this like piggy bank contest. And it was sponsored by the Meade Extension Office. And so they could build a piggy bank on anything they want to. Like somebody made a flower piggy bank and somebody else made something else. You could do whatever you want. He made a piggy bank model out of the state capitol. And it looks just like the state capitol. It was really pretty cool.
Very cool.
And actually, no, I'm wrong. It's not. He made it out of the gold vault. The gold vault at Fort Knox, and it's going to the state capitol. They're going to put it on display at the state capitol.
Very cool.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting. And I like to give kudos out for kids. Anytime I see any child, whether they be lower elementary, upper elementary, middle school, or high school, that does anything that requires some creativity, some research, a little bit of writing or things like that, I'm all about that. Every kid can be like, and I know we've discussed this, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but, almost any kid can play a video game or, talk about some silliness that's on YouTube or something like that. But I'm always super impressed when I see kids who are doing, like these kids who excel in certain sports. They don't just become that good. They have to have practices. Like, they have to, how many times do they go home and pull that archery?
Yeah, discipline.
Yes, yeah. Or like, cheerleading. They don't learn everything just during that 2 hours of cheerleading practice. They have to practice alone. Even the basketball kids, they practice over and over and over. They, practice their shot. And it's what they do on a their personal time and their discipline, like you said, that makes the difference in whether or not they're going to be a standout in sports or not.
Yeah. For everything that I've seen in the paper, even seeing the interns here, you all have some bright talent.
Oh yeah,
in Meade County.
Yeah. Our 15 and 17-year-old that work for us. Yeah, they're pretty awesome, aren't they?
Very, very intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. They've come in like Lucinda came to us and applied for a job, and then we asked for a co-op, and that's how we got Ryan, was through the co-op through Meade County High School, which we're very appreciative of. And that's a great program.
Still looking for co-ops as we go into the summer and looking for next year as well.
Mm-hmm. For next year, we need another co-op for next year because Lucinda will still be too young to be a real co-op next year.
I thought she was going to be old enough next year.
No, you're only a co-op if you're a senior.
Oh.
And she's only a sophomore.
That sucks. I thought she was a junior and senior, but I guess not.
No, it's only a senior. I checked it out. So.
Well. We'll get there.
I know we will. And so, but I wanted to share that. I don't know what else I wanted to share. I know that
Community calendar.
Well, yeah, there you go. Thank you for bringing that. This community calendar. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, while you're getting your papers out, I was going to tell everybody, yard sale season's coming. We're only about a month away. Summer will be here in March before you know it. And it'll be Easter and all that stuff. And you're going to be starting getting all the stuff out, especially when you start looking for the old Easter baskets. The band, I would tell you to go look at Meade County Band. Has an awesome thing coming up where you can make a donation to the Band Boosters program, and they will actually deliver Easter eggs.
So it's money. We're talking about money.
Yep.
So give them money, and then they'll come in.
Yeah, that's right. And so it's like a give and take. So it's not just like you're giving your money and it's going to them, but they'll actually send the band kids out and put the Easter eggs. You just tell them how much you want, and they'll take the profit over the top of the sale.
Is this where I jump in and say that the kids need to do it?
The kids are doing it.
No. That's not what I'm saying. So here's the thing that kind of
I guess I'm
feel.
confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids need to do it.
Let me help you out on this because your children are still really small.
Yeah.
So all too often, parents will post on Facebook or Google or whatever it is that they use, and they'll say, "My little Sally is selling whatever. If you want to buy one, here's my phone number." Da, 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 da. No. I will never say yes to that. When little Sally, and she doesn't have to come to my door, she doesn't have to leave home, nothing. She can FaceTime me on her mama's phone and say, "Miss Earlene, will you please buy?" And I don't even hear. Whatever she says, I'm going to buy. I just want the kid to ask.
I don't disagree with that. 100% agree. I was a Boy Scout. I went and sold all that stuff and did that when I was a little kid too. What I was going off of was the Boosters flyer. I'm sure they have the kids out there working the crowd, but one of the parents had reached out to me and said, "Hey, could you?" I was like, "I'll advertise that a couple of times."
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, because that's a deal for parents, especially got a lot going on like myself. Yes.
Well, we'll advertise almost anything in the community calendar.
That's right.
Regardless of what it is that you're doing, as long as it's legal.
Thanks for throwing that disclaimer in there.
And usually we try to keep it to about 10 words, like something simple. Like just state what it is, where it is, what time it is, and what day, and we'll put it in. But, we've got lots going on. And, we were talking about how we appreciate people calling in and talking to us. Well, one of our readers called in and said, I usually get my paper on Wednesday night after I get home from work. It's in the mail. And she said, and sometimes Thursday. And then she said, but by the time I sit down and do things, what is happening has already happened. And so she asked us to back it up a little bit. And so we talked about it, and Nancy and I talked about it with Tammy Beasley. And we were like, well, that seems like a very small thing to ask. And so we've done that. We're beginning at this. It'll come out this week, where we've just backed it up a couple of days so that they're able to see. Or I guess we went forward a couple of days. Yeah, we went forward a couple of days so that they have more than 24 or 48 hours to plan to be. Because she said some of those things, she said, I love it. I love what y'all are putting out. There's so much going on that I didn't even know was going on, but I missed some of it just because of the day. And I was like, well, that makes sense.
And that's really considerate of you and Nancy, too. And I got to say, we live in such a fast-paced world, it's easy to miss things here and there,
Yeah, it is. And, coming up here, there's a lot of things in here. There's several sports, like little leagues or soccer or things like that are online only, to register your child. So we have that in here if you want to look through this. The VFW, they're going to have their breakfast that they have once a month, and we certainly want to support them. There's just lots going on. Sunday Fun Day at the shop is happening. Lots of creative stuff, like this thing called Sit and Stitch at the Meade County Extension Office is going to happen. It's from 5 to 8 p.m., and they've got an incredible thing set up over there with, I don't know, like half a dozen sewing machines or something like that. And you can come in, and I think, I may get in trouble for saying this, but I think you can bring your sewing machine too, and set it up, and then they all enjoy doing the same thing. So they sit around and chit chat and talk, and they're sewing, and they do awesome stuff. They make huge quilts that they auction off and stuff like that. I mean, they're incredible. But in the community calendar, we have things over in Cordon. We have things all over Meade County. We have some things in Louisville. We have things from Fort Knox. We have things from, northern Hardin County. So you can get lots and lots of stuff happening. So pick it up in the paper. If you don't have a subscription, what do they need to do, Sean?
Give me a call.
And the phone number is?
270-422-2155. Press 1, option 1, and you'll go right to Sean's desk, and he'll be able to get you in the system for a subscription. Or you can go to themessengerky.com, and you can subscribe online. We'll get all your information and then put you in the system, and you will start getting it at home or online at the e-edition.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so it's actually cheaper to have a subscription. Like it costs more the first time when you pay, but it works out per issue cheaper to have a
way cheaper.
Yeah. And then so that's something I would recommend you do. If you don't have it, just pick it up when you're out at the grocery store or out over at Cox's. They always have a pile sitting over there, the Dollar General.
Or you make it sound like they don't sell. They always have a pile.
No, they do. No, I don't mean that. I mean, they start off They start off with a pile. Lucinda wrote a wonderful story about the NTI days because so many people have been so upset about it. I mean, like cranky.
Seriously, I know.
People have gotten into huge screaming fights, like on the Meade County Local, about it. And so, there are people who are for it and there are people who are against it. And, there's people who say, I moved here from Minnesota. We wouldn't even be considering this if in Minnesota they'd have 2 feet of snow.
Well, first of all, they don't talk like that in Minnesota. They say, "Oh, listen here, girl. We used to walk through 3 miles of this here stuff. It wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying there? So you just forget about your little cold weather down here, and you'll be fine. You betcha. Oh yeah, you betcha.
Burrow a tunnel, eh?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but it's so they're wondering. I think we've had 7 NTIs since November, something like that. And
I had to look up NTI.
I know.
I'm like,
it's new. They just did this during COVID. When they created it.
I know. I got it.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, you don't have to lose any school days because we still did work. I got it.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's difficult because even though going to school is not meant to be a child care situation.
No, but it does put havoc on the family unit because of getting who's covering down.
Well, and my advice is this: always have a backup.
And my thing is, if the daycare can be open, the school should be open.
Okay, you don't want to know why I don't. I'm going to tell you why. Absolutely, do not agree with what you just said.
Transportation.
Thank you. High five up here.
First of all,
Boom.
transportation is a privilege, not a right of any student go to school. It is set forth in the budget of the schools. That's why they consolidated schools.
Well, then
and
you can discuss that with Glenn Wilson and
I'm just,
go ahead. You have that little chat with him.
I'm just going to tell you who will tell you that too. Rich Fairman. He drives a bus.
I know tons of bus drivers here, and I can tell you,
I'm happy for them. Don't get me wrong.
I would not want somebody driving their big old school bus on the ice down around the Knob in Wolf Creek going down the hill.
I don't disagree with that statement.
Or anywhere around Painville.
I don't disagree with that statement.
I'm a Brett County boy, and I used to live
it.
on High Plains Road, and that's 5 miles past state maintenance. And yeah, getting a bus out there when there's ice. I mean, I hear both sides for sure. I don't know.
Yeah, but the roads are cleared, man.
They are now.
Well, they were cleared then too.
When I was leaving Doe Valley today, there was a shady spot and snow was still there. I'm just saying.
In the shade.
What about the areas that are flooded, though? Is there any back roads that are like...
I'm sure there is.
You mean Doe Valley doesn't maintain their roads?
Doe Valley maintains their roads beautifully.
I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give me the opportunity to go ahead and apologize right now for my little salty co-host over here. He has been on a roll today. I don't know what's going on, but...
They're good. What do we have coming up? Because what is coming up?
Well, one thing's coming up that I want you guys to do. So our office manager is Nancy Frazier, and everybody she's very low key. She just is. She does all the work. She keeps us straight. She's wonderful.
She does all the work.
What people don't know is that she is number 2 for barrel racing. And
isn't that exciting?
That's very exciting.
And this I forget what the series is that she's running, but
bands, barrels, and something.
I don't know. Yeah,
3 B's.
Beer, bands, and
it's
barrels.
Not beer.
Let's go.
Beer.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. But it's all over the country.
Yeah,
like she's traveled to Las Vegas. She's traveled down south. She's traveled Iowa. I think she was at a couple of weeks ago.
Down in Louisiana.
Yeah.
She can teach kids to ride. That's talent.
Well, she and her husband Chris, they're friends with someone, and the person that they're friends with said that their 9-year-old daughter just loves horses, or granddaughter loves horses, blah blah blah. So she did a show in Lexington, So she invited this grandma to bring her 9-year-old granddaughter to Lexington to meet with them, and they did the whole behind-the-scenes thing and all this, made this kid's day. So Nancy would never ask for anything, but the child's grandmother sent me a handwritten letter, and so I used that letter to write up a story and to highlight Nancy because, everybody deserves to be highlighted. Everybody, for any reason. And I get it. She goes out there and runs those barrels, and she gets a lot of satisfaction from that. But here, nobody knows. Like, would you have known? When you came in and you met her, would you have thought she was just hot shot on the horse?
No, I would not have known.
Yeah, I know. So it's kind of cool. So we've got that going. We're also going to debate the cursive writing because it's being returned to the Kentucky schools.
I don't know why we should debate that. It's happening. Let it go.
I didn't say that we're going to debate it. We're going to discuss it. Debate does not always have to be an argument.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
You have to have a compelling argument in a debate and to hold your ground. One opposition, the other.
Yeah, but it doesn't always have to be that type of aggression.
No, it is.
You can have friendly debates.
No, I got it, but it's not a debate. I'm not going to debate with you. I agree with that.
Okay.
Are you going to pose the...
You and I are not going to debate each other, but you and I are one of 3,000 people that are going to read the newspaper, and somebody's going to debate it.
Oh, I'll agree.
That's what I meant.
They'd have to give a compelling argument as to why we don't. I can tell you a number of people we've been encountered with just recently that can't even read.
Can't read cursive.
Can't read cursive.
You're of that generation.
So I can somewhat. I'm going to be honest. There are some people's cursive where I'm just like, I don't know what this is.
That's because it hasn't been taught properly.
I don't know.
Or they got lazy with it.
Yeah, I see a bunch of squiggles. That's why I like print. It's very, very...
I have a doctor's signature.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so do I. But I mean, that's really all I do in cursive is my signature. I know I'm disappointing you, Earlene.
Cursive is so important for so many reasons. It's
I
so
do
important
too.
for the brain flow.
Writing
it's so
out a
important
check.
for fine motors. It's just great. Writing out a check. Do you even write checks?
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a check.
Do you know
book.
how to write a check?
Yeah. I mean, I process them, so I have
think,
to know.
Sean, you're what, 34?
34.
Yeah,
You're
he's
not
30.
supposed to talk about it. Somebody, that's HR. Hold on, guys.
It's all good. I volunteered the information.
All right, there we go. All right,
All right,
HR hat.
that's his HR hat because he's our HR. He's our HR person.
Steven does everything, y'all.
well,
He's
we're gonna
running
talk about
around
that.
this place.
Yeah. So anyway, we gave our man basket away last week.
Yeah,
During
who's the winner?
Who's the winner?
Robin Dingus.
Robin Dingus.
There you go.
That's right.
That's
Waiting
full
for
of-
them to come in and pick it up. It's
know
pretty
it.
sweet.
I know
I
it.
should zoom in on the camera.
Well, listen, what we don't have is Robin Dingus's phone number. So we have announced it. We looked it up. We've tried to find it. So if you know Robin Dingus, she's got a man bucket here with a $360 value.
It's pretty cool.
She can
I
come
think
pick
she's
it up.
on Facebook too. So
You think she is on
yeah,
Facebook?
I saw her comment on one thing. So.
Yeah, but she did a great job. She wrote in, told a story about how she met her fella, and we published that. And then she won. She won by drawing. We just threw the names in there and draw.
Yeah.
That way, we didn't have to pick which one we liked more than the other. So I mean, that's coming up. So we need that coming up. Organic gardening. Anastasia is writing this thing because organic and homesteading.
March is planning month.
All that's big stuff right now. Less pesticides or
Organic.
poisons. Yeah. So she,
More natural foods.
Right. So she's going to do a series on that, like every 2 weeks for the next several months, encouraging people to.
Do you ever get like where you go to the grocery store, you think you just got something fresh, and like you put it in the fridge, and like a day later, it's already like, really?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me so
Some
mad.
of our produce is like that. You got to really get it clean when you get home. Otherwise, it seems like it just brittles in on
I
itself.
know.
Yep, and you grab a tomato and it feels like it's been under 10 years of dust.
Oh,
You
no.
know, you're not supposed to ever put tomatoes in the refrigerator.
I don't.
Ever,
No,
ever,
we
ever.
don't. Not unless you've cut it open and we're
Yeah.
sliced up or something. But
Yeah.
no, we don't ever do it.
Yeah,
we got them in a basket and hang it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I won't hardly even eat tomatoes when they're off season because I don't want to buy them at the grocery.
They're not the same.
Yeah, they're not. They're just not. I love them during the summertime though. I know.
So good. And nothing better than like a homegrown or greenhouse grown tomato.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to transition over to sponsors. Then I'm going to come
Okay.
back and we're going to close it right out. And we'll be right back in 2 seconds.
Sounds good.
Want to thank Ray's Ford for sponsoring this week's episode. Interesting. Thank you at Ray's Ford. They also have subscriptions to the newspaper over there. So if you're waiting around to get your servicing needs for your vehicle, grab a Messenger. It's on a newsstand there, and it's absolutely free to read while you're sitting there having a cup of coffee at Ray's Ford. Don't forget about talking to my good guy Keith over there. If you're looking for a new vehicle, they have excellent options. Joe Redman is sponsoring this week's episode of the Earlene Steve Show. He is your local landscaping needs. You can get in touch with Joe or call him at 270-668-2858. If you're also looking for some home improvements, need a step fix, or looking to build a new deck, Joe is your guy, and he's got a team ready to go, all fired up to get the things done. Our next sponsor is Terry Hubry with the Lakeside Bar and Grill. What a great view to sit and have dinner. I was there. I saw what they did for the Valentine's Day special. It was very cozy, quaint, and they went all out for couples and those who are wanting to have a little fine dining experience. They are one of our sponsors this week as well. You can reach them at 270-422-3981. They also have catering information available. So get in touch with Terry. She's with the Lakeside Bar and Grill. And then finally, our final sponsor is Pollock's Appliance. For sponsoring this week's episode, you can reach them at 270-668-8292. You do not have to go far to get your appliance needs met here locally, and you don't have to go far. You can also talk to them about getting some servicing done. If you've got that squeaky wheel on the dryer, or you just hear your washer and machine having a rumble in its tumble, you can just give them a call. They'll come on over. Or if you're just looking to upgrade, you can go to www.pollocksappliance.com and you can check out all of their cool stuff. And I will say that it's been a crazy week. Even though the snow and all that other stuff has impacted us, Earlene, we have had quite the work ethic coming out of all of our writers trying to engage to get everything in on time. So I just want to say thanks again for another great week. Get the paper, go out and grab it off the newsstand, or better yet, get that subscription.
That's right. That's right. That'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Back to you.
All right. Well, how much time?
That's it. Wrap it out.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Please let us hear from you. If you have any concerns whatsoever, please call. We want to know, want to hear it.
Yes.
Call Sean.
Call
Sean
Sean.
will direct you to me. I will listen to whatever it is you have to say. I won't always follow through because everybody has different opinions about what they want to see in the paper, but I will always listen and I will always consider.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank you.
And tune in this Friday. Well, actually, it will be pre-recorded this week because I will be out of town. But Kentucky Talks will come on with some of the news activity across the state. We'll come on with the legislative updates. And we should be able to get you all squared away with the news. It's the news across the Kentucky nation. Just thanks for tuning in to us. And we appreciate your support of the Earlene and Steve Show. More things to come about all of this activity here at the Messenger from our local friends from the Kentucky Press Association, too. So, Earlene, Sean, great show.
Sean, thank you for joining us.
Hey.
I appreciate your willingness for us to say, let's go, Sean.
I love it. Thanks for having me, Earlene. Thanks for having me, Stephen.